Hey Rockstars, I'm JB, expert salesperson and master presenter.
I'm the doctor, psychologist, and behavioral expert.
This is the Entrepreneur Mastery Lab podcast.
We're high-performance coaches that help service-based professionals and entrepreneurs take their skills to the next level.
70% of entrepreneurs fail, which is why every week we have real talk with real entrepreneurs to help ensure you are not one of them.
We're also the inventors of the Be Rich mindset,
where we rise to mastery,
inspire greatness,
celebrate knowledge,
and help others along the way.
So join us in the lab.
And now, on to the show.
Well, what's up, everybody? I'm JB.
I'm the doctor.
Again, and we're here in the Better Business Brewing live Q&A, which is also released on our podcast. So if you happen to be watching us live, first of all, thanks for joining us. We're super excited to have you. If you are catching this on a replay, though, which is also quite likely, thank you for checking us out there. And if this is your first time, holy crap, mind blown. We're gonna have a lot of fun tonight because on our Better Business Brewing, we do one thing very different than we do on our podcast. It's completely spontaneous. It's completely improvised, which we love. And it also includes a drink, which we also maybe love.
Sometimes.
So
we would
if
love
you're watching
one
us
today.
If you're watching us live, grab a drink. And if this is on a replay and it's Monday morning on your commute to work, maybe don't grab a drink. That's okay too. But I do have a drink here.
What do you
drinking
have?
Anything tonight, Doc?
Inquiring
Or is it
minds
just
want to
me?
know.
Am I
What are you
solo?
drinking? What are you
All right,
drinking?
so I got a little something here. I don't know if you can see what I'm drinking. Phantom. Now,
Okay.
Phantom here, there's a story behind Phantom. Phantom's Bogle Vineyards. It's out of Lodi area, California, Delta area. Kind of the Zen world there. But my wife and I, when we first bought our first house, 25, 26 years old, we bought our first house. We bought this house. We couldn't afford anything, right? The only furniture we had, Doc, was a hand-me-down bed and a hand-me-down couch for my parents and 2 folding chairs. So that's about it. So we had no money to buy furniture, but we did have enough money to buy some of our first bottles of wine as a moved-in couple, and that was Phantom. So now I don't go looking for Phantom, but every now and then I'll catch it. I happen to catch this one at Costco, who's welcome to sponsor us along with Bogle Vineyards. And I said, all right, I have to get a couple bottles because every time I see it, it's just a reminder of like 13, 14 years ago when my wife and I moved in, we had nothing except a nice bottle of wine. And so now I get to drink that.
Has
Don't
the
tell my
wine
wife.
aged as gracefully as you two?
I don't know about that, but I'm sitting here drinking it by myself. So just mum's the word on this one, maybe. She might get a little jealous if she finds out I'm drinking the Phantom by myself. So
I will not do anything. Hold on while I text somebody. Totally unrelated.
in the meantime,
Totally unrelated.
cheers to all of you.
If any of you are out there listening live and you happen to be the area of my office, which I'm not going to say right now, but if you happen to know where it is, feel free to drop off a delivery of any kind of alcoholic beverage. I would be more than happy to consume it. But unfortunately, I am at work and did not get to plan that part ahead.
That is a total bummer, man. I
do
feel
have some
for
nice
you.
water. It's very refreshing and cold.
This better business brewing. I don't know, man. Every month, same night of the month. Just bring something with you. Don't have a coughing attack on me. This is why you should be drinking alcohol and not water. Are you sure there's water in there? That cough was kind of reminiscent of tequila. That was like a tequila cough.
It was, my body was expecting some tequila, or hoping for some tequila, but it was just water. So I got too excited
drinking
drinking.
That añejo, man. A little smoother.
Again,
So-
anybody out and about that would like to deliver, I'm okay with that.
All right. Well, it's what it is. I'm not driving anywhere. I'm not allowed to legally drive anymore. It's not because I'm drunk. It's because I don't get any sleep. And so they're like, hey, that's worse than drinking and driving is when you don't have enough sleep and you're driving. So I that chair right behind me, that's for me to pass out in after I finish my bottle of wine.
Tommy is driving home right now from baseball, so he might be a person that can drop some off.
Who is Tommy?
Tommy DeMissa is in our comments saying,
Oh my
congrats on the
gosh.
success of your show.
Tommy D, I freaking love it, man. You coming back from a Mets game? I'm not gonna knock on you for going to a Mets game. I know that's where you were at. It must have been. I freaking love seeing him. Are you texting and driving, dude? You better not be.
Better than drinking and
awesome.
driving, so definitely don't do that.
Yeah, and Tommy, thank you. Tommy reached out to me when I had my kid not that long ago and was like, I don't care if I'm not going to see you. I don't care if I'm not going to hear from you, but you better be sending me some pictures. So I owe this dude some photos. I'll get them to you, buddy. I promise.
Hopefully of the child.
Oh, it's his son's game.
Okay.
Well, that's even more exciting. All right.
That is better chance of winning.
I love it. I love that you're watching on LinkedIn too, man. That is freaking awesome. Doc, what are we talking about tonight, dude? What's top of mind?
Oh, we're not just going to talk about tequila that you're going to get me?
I didn't know you got into tequila. I thought we were like bourbon guys. I thought that was our jam.
If you know one thing about me, you know I don't discriminate. That's across the board. True. That includes liquor too.
That is true. Open. I'm not a tequila guy. I swore off tequila years ago, not because of a bad experience, but because of multiple bad experiences. So I had to get rid of tequila. Too many bad experiences when I was young. But I
swore off bad tequila.
Well, yeah.
That's right. I learned. It was when I was younger, tequila no go. Tequila bad. But then I just realized it was just bad tequila is bad. But good tequila is good.
Can be. And that's like, you give me a really good añejo, you give me, the right tequila or a margarita and I'm on board. But we could talk about drinking all night and not accomplish much.
I like how your son thinks.
Dude, Tommy, can you just join us on the show every night? I'm enjoying you, man. We like your son too. He's
I'm gonna say, bring his son on the show. He's the one. He's the one with the good ideas.
Hey, his kids are pretty sharp. Tommy's told me some stories about his kids, and they got good heads on their shoulders.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
So, what are we talking about, JB?
I don't know. We got a lot to talk about, man. I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about, of course, top of mind for me is the impact of sleep on our days and our schedules, because I'm getting none. I got to tell this story. So I'm reaching out to a client and I'm following up, and I'm like, hey, did you get my FedEx? And I'm going to be in meetings all day, so just text me back or something, or we can chat tomorrow. And of course, what happens is she has not received my FedEx that I sent to her yet, and she then turns and calls me like 4 times in a row, because clearly I'm not going to be around all day. I'm in back-to-back meetings. Went right past her the moment she realized she didn't have this FedEx. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, I got to track this FedEx. I got to pull up the overnight label and track this FedEx. I just don't get it. I mean, I texted her, I sent it to her. I know it was there, but I literally cannot remember going to FedEx. I cannot for the life of me remember. So I'm talking to my wife and I'm like, wait, weren't you in the car with me? Cause it was like Saturday morning. I said, weren't you in the car with me? And I said, we had to stop at FedEx, and then we stopped at FedEx, and she says, yeah, I remember that kind of, but I don't remember FedEx. And I was like, well, neither do I, but I told this person that I definitely FedExed them. Well, so I look at my car and there's nothing there. And I'm like, well, what's that in my wife's car? And you got to appreciate we have almost the same car. So it's just a different color. So it's kind of hard to figure out which one you're in sometimes. And long story short, I'm going to track this label. It says it's been created, but it hasn't shipped. So is it me or is it FedEx? Well, I get into this car and I swear on my life that it was just sitting right there in the chair. I had in my head up here, I had shipped that FedEx envelope, but out here in the world, there was no stop at FedEx. It just never happened. That's what happens when you don't get enough sleep. That's what happens when you don't get enough sleep. You just you make shit up in your head. I mean, you just make it up. Thought something happened, didn't happen.
Some would say you make ship up.
Yes, ship up. That's exactly what I said, Thomas. Tommy's like jumping off the show. He's like, I'm done. But
so maybe you want to give a little context to this, because I'm not sure all of our listeners are quite caught up with your life, as they should be. And of course, you should be listening to our podcast that came out on Monday, where we talk a little bit about this. And we had an amazing guest, Abby Millinger, who was one of our most entertaining episodes in quite a while. Not as sly as anybody else, but it was really fun. It was a really great episode. So if you haven't listened, you should. But maybe JB, update people a little bit on why you're not getting any sleep.
Yeah, it's a bawling, crying, screaming, pooping, eating. He's getting sleep, infant, newborn, just a few weeks old, depending on when you're listening or watching this. So it's an amazing thing, not getting sleep. And Tommy's asking about polyphasic sleeping. Polyphasic. I'm not feeling. You know what that is, Doc? I feel like you should know what this is. You could just say
poly
yes.
Poly is usually more than one, and then phasic, so that means more than one phase sleep. I'm gonna just guess. So no, I don't know.
I mean, you broke that down pretty nicely. I don't know. Maybe it's napping throughout the day, like my infant's doing. He sleeps all day long and then doesn't sleep at all at night. I don't know. But I do have to say,
sleeping with other people. I mean, poly, that could be sleeping with other people. I mean, I'll give that a try.
I mean, I'm not gonna put myself out there and get myself in trouble, but there's certain things that sound better than what I'm going through right now. So I don't know, man. Anything that would help me get a little bit more rest would be great, because it does impact you, right? Lack of sleep impacts you. We talk about this. We've got a new masterclass coming out, actually, that we actually chat about this, the impact of sleep and how important it is. Because I'm just not getting it, and I'm feeling it and seeing it, and I track a lot of my results and I measure that stuff, and it's real, right? The performance is dropped.
So it is tiny naps. It's like
tiny naps. Who was that? Was that Ben Franklin or Thomas Edison? I mean, you could say it was like anybody back then, and nobody's really going to know. But there was one of those guys did that. Like he didn't sleep through the night. He just took naps when he was tired, and that was that. It was one of those.
I think they tweeted about that. Didn't one of those guys? They did tweet about that. So I don't know which one it was, but I do remember that tweeting.
Right after the Civil War, they tweeted that. That's how they got past it. Now there was somebody that I'm blanking on which one it was. It was Edison or Franklin. I'm pretty sure that did that. Very eccentric dudes, both of them.
Well, if I don't know. Edison, it was probably actually Tesla.
Oh.
That was a science joke for all you that might have got that.
I appreciate that. Tiny naps would be great. I mean, if I could control my tiny naps, it's like the challenge is like I can't take tiny naps throughout the day. I don't schedule myself out that way. I kind of wish I did now. It tricks your brain and gets you into REM quickly. Man, I'm on board to try anything for the next 6 months. I'm going to give it a shot. You're going to just nap every hour. I'm just going to be like, are you working? I'm going to be like, no, I'm napping. This is just as important. I
actually will be doing some research after, because I'd be interested to see how the data on that, because it is in opposition of what you would think when you're thinking of more cyclical sleep, where they want you to stay on the same kind of schedule.
Well, they say deep sleep is really the most restful sleep, right? It's not the REM phase. It's not REM. It's your actual deep sleep, which is really only like 90 minutes, and it's earlier in the night, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I learned that from Fitbit or something.
It's a very strong strategy.
The true experts in all things
go to the
sleep.
Fitbit.
Go to the Fitbit app. It tells you everything until it breaks, which mine did multiple times. But no,
and that is also the important time for your brain to store everything too. So that is why sleep is super important.
The REM or the deep, or just in general?
It goes through both of those, but it's generally more into the deep for this deep storage. That's when your body also shuts down and repairs, because it's not doing anything else. But there is some aspects of it happening in REM also.
Well, you could be bullshipping me, but I wouldn't know. So I'm going to take your word on it. Sure. It is probably bull. I mean, this is a big deal though, right? So culturally, I want to talk about this for a little bit. for the most part, is sleep really celebrated? I don't think it is. I think like the hustle, working 19-hour days, being that Elon Musk, sleeping under your desk on a factory floor is like it's like the sexy thing right now. I don't think getting sleep's a sexy thing for most people. Maybe it ought to be.
I think there is a shift. I think that was more of the hustle culture from a few years back. I think
You think that culture's gone?
I don't think it's gone, but I think we're starting to see the shift towards people understanding self-care is more important. And we do have a lot of like those thought leaders that people do listen to quite a bit that do talk about self-care more and more now. So it's starting to pick up some of the momentum, which is true. Sleep is important. You listen to someone like Gary Vee when he talks about it, thing he never sacrifices is his sleep, because he realizes how important it is. He's busy as can be. He says, when he's up and running and very planned out, but doesn't sacrifice any sleep. And granted, he probably doesn't have a newborn at home right now. That does play a role.
Yeah, well, it does, and there's not much I'm going to be able to do about it. But there is something to be said where it's, hey, you can forego sleep, but there is going to be a drop in performance, and the only way you need to track that is by measuring. You pay attention, you look at what your performance is, and you compare it before and after, and you see the difference. It takes a toll here, it takes a toll here, it takes a toll here as well, physically, mentally, spiritually. It hits you all places. Sleep, it's one thing I don't think we should mess with. How many hours you need, Doc? What's your schedule?
8 is recommended, so 7 to 8. And I think when I generally average 7, I'm pretty good. Now it's different for everybody, and it's different for your age group and such. As you get older, you need less, actually, funny enough. That's why you find some of the older folks that can get off on 4 or 5 hours and be productive. They generally go to bed earlier, wake up throughout the night, but then might also take some naps. So they might see some of that too. Not always though, but it is generally based on what it is. But finding, like most things, finding your sweet spot where you're most productive is trial and error. So, and we do have the nice ability these days of a lot of apps that can help track it. So they can see when you're in different sleep cycles to make sure that you're getting the appropriate amount of time in all those. Now they're not 100%, but they give you more data than we've ever had in the past. So there's a lot of tools that you can use to enhance that.
Just absorbing everything you said. I feel like I asked you a question where you could have been like 7. That could have been your answer. You went out there, but you're right. I mean, those sleep trackers are really interesting. I appreciated it with the Fitbit, when I wore one, but it was weird because it would tell me I'd get great sleep, and I'd be like, no, that was not great sleep. And then other nights it'd be like, oh, your sleep was crappy. You had crap sleep. And I actually feel really good. So I think there's something to be said about like what it's measuring, and then what your actual experience is, physiologically speaking. When you say,
like most
8
things,
hours,
there's more than one factor, right? Like there's more than one factor that's at play.
So here was the one big piece of insight for me wearing a trackable and talking about sleep. I remember wearing it, and you go to sleep and you say, hey, I get 8 hours of sleep. It's a great night. But you actually end up, like, if you're a light sleeper, which I happen to be sometimes, or on a regular basis, apparently, 8 hours of sleep is really not 8 hours of sleep for somebody like me. It's only 7. So in my head before wearing the trackers, I was like, oh, I got 8 hours of sleep. I got a good night's sleep. But it really doesn't mean I should be sleeping 9 hours and getting 8 true hours of sleep, or is going to bed for 8 hours and getting 7 hours cool? I mean, it's kind of one of the questions top of mind for me on that.
Well, that's where I go back to the same thing: is how do you feel when you get that average? Is that working for you? Do you feel tired? Do you feel energized? Do you feel like you're accomplished? That's why we track and measure things, because otherwise we're just using our assumption on what we think is happening. And as we know, our remembrance of actual data and timing, not always the most accurate.
What are you saying?
Why those things? Why, even while the Fitbit might not be as fully accurate, you're going to look at the trends, right? You're not going to just look at that one data point. You're going to look at the trends over time and see how that looks for you. So not every 8 hours is going to be exact, but if you see a bunch of those time zones hanging out in the same area, then you can see the trend on that.
So I'm gonna push down this path a little bit further, just kind of digging into wearables. You've worn them, I know you have. I've worn them.
Mm-hmm.
Probably most of our audience at this point has used them. What's your feeling? Over tracking? Is there an issue with over tracking with the wearables? Are people putting too much emphasis on tracking everything?
Like most things, everyone could over obsess about things. I don't tend
Garbage
to do
in,
that
garbage
myself,
out.
right? Like, so I look at, I think a lot of us probably just scroll through it like, oh, that's interesting numbers. I don't know how much of our tracking it. Very detailed. I'm not an athlete either, though, so my performance is not measured the same way someone else might be, that if they were, getting ready for a major event where they would have to have some better tracking. But it's interesting to see the heart rate, like what your resting heart rate gets down to. I did try the Whoop for a little while. That was very interesting to kind of see some of their heart rate tracking that they used and their recovery numbers. And little things like, going out drinking the night before will have a big effect on that number. A lot of exercise the day before will have a different effect. So there is some definitely changes that happen. But for my goal, it was probably a little overkill. But if I was a highly tuned athlete, like some of those that are using it, it's not overkill. It's very useful information. So again, I think with most things is we can take it in moderation and use it as a good tool, but depending on our needs and what we would try to get out of it. But some of them are crazy.
I feel
some of the information you can get.
It's a lot. Like the Garmin's have a crazy amount of detail. Especially the higher end Garmin's, for example. Especially if you're an athlete and exercising. But I've got a feeling. There's an extent where tracking and measurement is important to kind of determine how you're doing and to work to achieve goals. But I think you can kind of get like stuck on that scale mentality. When people diet, they're so focused on the scale, they're not really focused on just eating right and being healthy and all those things. And I think wearables and tracking some of this stuff leads to that mentality. It's like that scale mentality, which is problematic. So I have a personal feeling that there are times where it's good to do it on occasion, and then there's times where you probably should be backing off and just kind of refocusing on the process and just the overall well-being that you're trying to achieve.
Right, and I think it goes back to how you feel, right? So the same thing with what you were saying with that is that's the real true measurement. How do I feel when I'm doing these? Now, if those numbers help you like narrow down along with the feeling, that could be some beneficial information. But yeah, I think we can get caught up in trying to find out too much information. Some are really interesting though too, and I think one of the things that I would like to see and play around with more is the ones that wake you up intuitively. So they're supposed to be able to track your cycle and give you a nice gentle wake up. So it starts to happen in the process it's supposed to happen. I don't know how accurate that is, but I've seen it looks pretty good on the research. So I'd love to play around more with that.
Man, you must have a different like headspace than I do, because I got to tell you, if I got something to do, I don't get woken up like by my alarm. I wake up before my alarm. I mean, I got one of those like clocks in my head where it's my alarm set for 5:30, 5:28, 5:29. I'm up a lot of times, unless I'm absolutely exhausted. I've got that I don't know if it's neurosis or what. I got that trigger, man.
We're all different. That's why it's not a one size fit all, which just goes back to my answers.
Yeah, of course it depends. Right?
I mean, I can tell you people that I know that have.
That.
I had a roommate one time way back. His alarm would go off for like 2 hours straight, and he would not budge.
Was he like a snoozer or the same alarm?
No, he just slept through it. And it was on his cell phone.
He just slept through the same
part
alarm.
of a song. And it was what song was it? It was I forget.
Wait, it was part of a song
Rush.
that just
it was
on
Rush.
Loop,
yeah,
repeat?
so it was Tom Sawyer Rush. So it would just be the same opening line from that song on repeat for hours, and we would have to like scream, knock down his door, and like, shut up your alarm. And he would sleep through all of that. But every day still steady. I'm like, why are you setting it 2 hours early if you're not getting up anyways? It's obviously not working as an alarm. That was that's when you had the roommate meeting after a while.
Fail. It's a large fail right there.
So I still have
dude,
some traumatic moments when I hear that song come on. One of us freeze. There we go.
I froze for a second there. I missed what you said.
I thought you were just really deep in thought. I'm like, oh, that's
no. I was reading Tommy's question. Have I still been able to exercise these days without the sleep? And I'll tell you what, I got asked this question multiple times this week. Yeah, I never stopped. I'm still going out there. We went into the hospital on a Wednesday, which is a day off for me, and by Monday I was back in the routine. So I really only missed Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and I'm very grateful because, funny enough, Tommy, I normally meditate after I exercise pretty much every day, and my meditation this last time I tried to meditate, I did not bother today. I tried yesterday, and I'm on a hardwood park bench. And I'm sitting erect, right? But I got earplugs in, so it's quiet. And I close my eyes and I'm meditating. And I try to do 10 or 15 minutes. And in 6 minutes, I fell asleep twice. Chin to the chest type of situation. So I finally gave up. So I've lost my meditation routine because I just can't stay awake there for right now. But the exercise is one thing keeping me sane. I think that's where I get half my energy.
Good excuse to be out of the house, right? I do enjoy that story because I think that's what happens to me a lot of times when I try to meditate. Or
you just fall asleep.
Watching TV at night, maybe occasionally I meditate, I guess, or just fall asleep.
You mean you fall asleep on the couch in front of the TV? Okay.
Yeah, I'm not meditating, as far as you know.
It's all right. If I were to sum this up though, and I were to say, hey, if you're trying to increase your performance and be better and get better, get some more sleep. Try that. See it stepping back a little bit and getting more sleep helps you, because I can certainly tell you, after a couple years of really an intensity on my focus on getting to bed early and getting a lot of rest, to lose it, and for a great reason, but to lose it, I see the difference. I see it in the workouts. I see it in my attention to detail. I see it in just my willpower. That muscle is a little bit like more worn out today than it normally is. So to sum that up,
one of my most important things.
If you want high, have a newborn. Yeah.
Or don't have the newborn and get some sleep. Those are your two options. I'm sure you have more options, but those are two good ones.
Yeah. They're the best ones.
So we also had an event this week. Like a killer.
We did.
Or was that last week?
We did.
I guess that was technically last week.
That was
in a week's time.
That was last week, but I think our listeners like Tommy D will really appreciate this. We hosted a live networking event, and we went pretty hard on this one to make it a great event, and I think a whole lot of what we wanted to accomplish is the type of atmosphere that I experienced in the networking group, which is where I met Tommy. So a big shout out to the networking group, or anybody who watches this or listens who's a part of that, run by Michael Goldberg and co-hosted by Tommy D. They're the two guys that run that. And we took a lot of the spirit of that about just having better intentionality and driving more impact. And we launched Evolve Networking here in Southeast Florida. And it was a total hit. It was awesome.
Yeah, great attendance, great feedback.
Share with them
all
what we
around.
did, Doc?
Just so much fun. I mean, I think that's the biggest part, was just the amount of fun that not only I had, but just the feedback that I had of from the guests and all the participants. They were just how different it was. We like to innovate. We like to keep you on your toes. And that was part of the strategy that we did. So I'm not going to give all the details away because we want you to start showing up to our events. And if you're local and it appeals that, but we did a couple of things to keep people. We had a black envelope that was a surprise that everyone held on to toward the end of the event, which got a lot of great reaction, a lot of great intrigue. But the reaction, and it turned out even better as an exercise than I thought it would. People were really, really engaged with it. So that was one of my favorite parts. And of course, we delivered some very good messaging along with some great networking. So we didn't talk the whole time. It's not like this where we babble and babble on, but we did give some quick tips and some things that were very strategic on how to make networking better. And we saw the results right away. Like, we saw the outcome, and it was happening right in the moment. But it was just so much fun to be around some great people. We had really, really quality people at this networking. And it was just super enjoyable to be back out there, and had some great sponsors. And I want to, make sure we shout them out. Peak Title, Sam Adams, Tito's, Brightline, all my magnificent sponsors that helped out make this event fantastic.
Yeah, we went all out. It was really cool. It's cool to have swag. It was cool to have the Tito's girl there. It was really cool to be able to do it at Brightline Station. This was here in Fort Lauderdale, Tommy. So anybody local here to Southeast Florida that's in the area in Broward, we're planning on doing more of these. And yeah, it absolutely was live. We had, I think, over 50 people join us, which is pretty amazing for an event in the midst of this environment. And I think it's cool, Doc. We incorporated storytelling, a little bit of workshop and mastermind attached to it, a fun exercise. And there is nothing like giving something to somebody and then saying you're not allowed to open it. Not until we tell you, because then the whole time they're like, well, what is this? When you actually give them a chance, this is one mistake we made, right, Doc? We told everybody, okay, we were almost done sharing kind of how you can get a hold of us. But before we said that, we were like, okay, now you can open up that black envelope. That was it. We had to shut up. Nobody was paying attention to us after that. That's right.
The attention was now focused fully on that black envelope. So I wouldn't say it was a mistake. It was a learning opportunity to make sure that we can keep improving.
It was.
But it was a lot of fun.
Very, very much. Yeah, and very much in the spirit of the networking group and everything I've had the chance to be exposed to with that group of great people. So looking forward to doing more of these, maybe outside of Fort Lauderdale as well as a few other locations and with some other really good sponsors and groups. So if you're in Southeast Florida, keep an eye out. Yep, Evolve Network.
And if you're interested in doing any events with us or anything, we're always listening to ideas, and we like to work with people, so it is a great thing.
Yeah, it is. Well, man, what do you think? Are we doing a little shorter tonight? I'm a little bummed you're not having a drink. I don't like to drink alone. It makes me feel awkward.
I mean, it sounds like a personal problem. Okay. Or more like you're rubbing it in, because I don't have it. I do have my water though, and it is nice, icy cold. I got this going for me. Staying hydrated.
Yeah.
Swallowed it without choking this time. Like an improvement. Look at that. I got goals.
And Tommy, anytime with the shout out, brother. Love being able to shout out great people, great events, and great networking. There's not enough of it. There's a reason I come back, and you'll be seeing me tomorrow night. I am carving out the time, brother. You can't keep me away.
You can keep me away because I don't know. Actually, I will be doing something if you are listening live. This is actually a really cool thing. So I'm part of the Scleroderma Foundation, a nonprofit, and I'm on the board. And we are going to be down by the Fort Lauderdale parking garage, down by the beach in Las Olas. There, if you're local, you know the parking garage that they built. They are going to be lighting it up teal green, teal blue, teal, whatever teal is. The parking garage will be teal, and in reference to Scleroderma Day, and we are going to be celebrating that. So if you're locally in the area, come down and help celebrate that. It's going to be around 8 p.m. It's a great foundation, and if you're not aware, reach out to me or do some Googling.
And I'm now taking bets on whether the doc actually does have tequila in that tumbler or not, because it's starting to sound like you do.
The doc has been talking for about 8 hours straight in sessions today. So there's been a lot of brain power already used. This is bonus time.
You know what we say. You should have little breaks between your sessions, a little me time. Maybe,
We normally
you should
should.
be doing some polyphasic sleeping.
We did. I mean, I had a few minutes to run to the
Little
restroom like
nap.
twice. That was about it. Nap would be ideal. Not sure how that goes over as well in session.
You're pampering yourself.
I haven't been able to figure out how to involve
yourself,
that in
man.
yet.
Good.
Cognitive behavioral
Good
nap
session.
therapy. I'm going to coin that. We're going to create that.
Hey,
Is that billable?
I'll sign me up. You're talking to the target audience right now.
Right?
Sign me up for that.
I think that is something out there. I think we have it. We got it covered. Right. Awesome, Tommy. We would definitely connect. I think that's a good
Tommy's comment there.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're local, those are some cool things.
Tommy, I should link you to
Yeah, we won't wait for you. We got it. Tommy and I will connect very shortly. Not tonight though, because I can't get words out. Apparently,
we'll get you two linked up.
Also, everyone before we let off.
I feel like you're on a delay.
I feel like you're on the delay. Maybe we're both on a delay. Who knows? Technology. But I do want to say this weekend is coming up. We have the 4th of July. So this will probably be coming out either on the 4th or the week after if you're listening in podcast world. And have a safe holiday weekend. Everyone be safe just with everything going on out there. And just, if you are going to party, do it responsibly. We want all of our listeners to be around with us on July 5th. So we want to be able to celebrate and have a good time, but also be safe. That's my words of wisdom.
Yeah. Happy 4th of July, everybody. That's a good one. Appreciate you all. Thanks for tuning in. Tommy, thanks for giving us some love on LinkedIn, man. And look forward to seeing you, buddy. For everybody else, I'm JB, and I am out.
And of course, you can find us at jbandthedoctor.com or on all your social media at jbandthedoctor. And check out the Evolve Networking and our local blog. And of course, our podcast that comes out once a week. And if you need anything else from us, you know where to find us. Otherwise, we'll talk to you later. Peace out, yo.